How are you doing today, lads? This is RyGuyGaming here today, back with another video from Open RuneScape Classic. Today I'm just going to be starting off with a little bit of the footage from the end of the last video, just because I was talking over it and not really commentating on it. So here we are in Lumbridge for the very first time in RuneScape Classic. If you'll see, it actually looks pretty similar to the Lumbridge that's in the game right now. There are a few differences. For example, it takes like a half hour to get to the Lumbridge swamp because there's a gate in the way and you have to walk all the way around, but I'll show you that when we do the Restless Ghost quest. Anyways, so we are going to get started today doing some quests. So the first quest that everyone should do when they join RuneScape, because it's easy as crap and gets you some starter cash, is Cook's Assistant. So we are going to go ahead and talk to the Lumbridge cook here, and he's freaking out because it's the Duke's birthday and he doesn't have anything for a cake. So we're gonna help this guy out and go ahead and make him give him the ingredients so he can make a cake. And so he asks us for a bucket of milk, a pot of flour, and an egg. And this is really a good this is really a good quest to do in the beginning of the game, just so that you can kind of learn your way around Lumbridge, see what there's to see. Maybe you'll even stumble across Drainer. But we're just gonna go ahead and pick up that mine rune. I'm kind of just exploring right now. You see there's a spinning wheel up here. That'll help us for a quest that we're going to do in a little bit. The Duke of Lumbridge is up here. You actually can start a quest later with him, but it's much later and you have to do a bunch of other quests first. And I picked this guy's pocket just for the heck of it. So now up here you'll see that there are some logs, and I don't think I got to talk about this on Tutorial Island because I think all the fires were already lit. But the only way to light fires in this game is if they're on the ground. So you cannot light a log that's in your inventory. You actually have to drop it first and then light it. And so, as you can see here, every time I click once and I attempt to light the fire, and if I don't light it, I have to click on my tinderbox again to be able to light the fire again. So that's just one of those click-intensive tasks of RuneScape. However, the fire making formula is really different than it is on the other game. On RuneScape Classic, you can only make fires from normal logs, so the XP curve is actually pretty insane. So fire making is actually a pretty easy skill to level. It's probably one of the quickest you'll be able to find in RuneScape Classic. Now we're just gonna go ahead and grab these couple arrows. Alrighty, so now we're just going to head out and explore Lumbridge, maybe gather some of our stuff for our quest. For some reason, I'm not sure if it's my computer that's lagging or the recording. I hope it's my computer currently, because that would be kind of annoying if this recording is a little jittery. If it is, I do apologize. But anyways, I'm just gonna walk across the bridge here, show you kind of across into where all the goblins are in the forest over here. As you can see, everything is laid out pretty much the same. Like there's the cow pen, all the goblins are right here. So this is a good place if you want to come kill cows for their hides or to get their meat or whatever. I actually came up here to milk a cow, but then I realized that I don't have a bucket yet. So I am going to go and buy one. But in order to buy one, of course, you need some GP and you need to go to the store and all that good stuff. So here we are in the Lumbridge General Store. We're just going to go ahead and talk to the store clerk right here. And he is going to pop up the shop for us. As you can see here, they do sell buckets here, and they also sell shears, which we are going to need. We only have 12 GP right now, which unfortunately isn't enough for a sleeping bag. That's actually something you're going to want to buy pretty quick here. Just because it allows you to rest without the need for a bed, so you don't have to like try to find one, because sometimes they can be pretty tricky to find. Sleeping bags are actually relatively new as far as RuneScape Classic goes. Like they were introduced later on into the game. I don't know how long they were in before they switched over to RuneScape 2, but it used to be like an actual part of your training route to include a bed so that if you had to rest, you were able to. Because if, like we said in the last video, if your fatigue gets too high, you won't gain any experience, and the gathering skills won't allow you to train them at all if your fatigue is too high. So right here, we're just stopping by on our way to Drainer to go to the bank. We're just going to talk to Fred the farmer because he actually has a quest for us. This is where we start Sheep Shearer. As you can see here in my quest menu, here's all the quests. Unfortunately, they don't change color when you start a quest. That's just the way Classic is. So it's kind of hard to know which ones you started. You just kind of have to keep track of that in your head. Of course, you can always look at the wiki, and that'll help you out a ton. But yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and start his quest, and he'll give us some gold pieces for some wool. I can't remember, it's like 25 wool or something for like not even that much, what, like 30 GP or something. So I just snagged a little bit of wheat right there. So, well, I guess they call it grain right here. Wheat, grain, same thing. As we arrive in the Drainer right here, we will need the grain in order to get the pot of flour. But I'm just going to stop off the bank here in Drainer. If you're new to RuneScape, this is directly west of Lumbridge, so if you just go out behind the castle and keep walking west, you'll eventually run into here. And this is probably the closest bank to where you spawn once you leave Tutorial Island, so you can head here and bank some of your stuff that you don't need right away. Like, for example, I don't need my wood cutting axe and all that. Alrighty, boys. So here we are at the windmill, and this is where we can go ahead and turn our wheat and or grain into some flour. So what you need to do, of course, is just climb to the top of the windmill and go ahead and place your grain into this hopper right here. And then once you do that, you go ahead and pull these levers here. And then once that happens, your wheat will get ground up, or I guess your grain will get ground up and appear at the bottom as just a pile of grain you can, or wheat, oh my gosh, a pile of flour that you can see right there. So if you have a pot in your inventory, you can just click on it and it'll go ahead and scoop up into the pot. If you want to play the most efficiently, I recommend getting 2 pots of flour right now. There is a quest later on. Yeah, there's at least one more I can think of that you'll probably want to do pretty early that requires a pot of flour. So since you're there, you might as well get one. I didn't think of it here because I didn't even know the other quest required a pot of flour. I hadn't done it in years. But anyways, for some reason I decided to kill this chicken. I can't remember why, but it does show something pretty interesting with some enemies. Some enemies, I'm trying to think. Chickens do it. I can't think of a whole lot of other enemies that do it. But chickens for sure. And I think a lot of other animals and imps. I don't think cows do it. But they will retreat from you once they get down to like 1 HP or once you've been fighting for too long, so you kind of have to chase after them. Sometimes it's a little annoying, to be honest, especially when you're low level and you can't like one-hit things, but that's fine. You just learn how to chase things, and then once you get your levels up and you can one-hit everything, it doesn't really matter anyways. Alright boys, so now we're gonna go ahead and start getting these sheep sheared. So basically you just click on the shears in your inventory, then click on the sheep. The sheep also run away. You can attack them, but when you try to shear them, some of them will run away. I'm not sure the percentage on whether or not you fail. It almost seems like 50-50 sometimes. I think it's a little higher than that, but once you get, the goal is to get about 26, I think I read. I know I said 25 earlier, but I think it's 26. So we're just going to go ahead and shear these sheep until we get a ton of their wool. I've been sitting here and I've probably sheared the same sheep like 5 times in a row. So I think the percentage is a little higher than 50% unless I'm just getting super lucky. Alright lads, looks like I was wrong every time. I guess you only need 20 balls of wool. So this is our last sheep that we're gonna shear, and then we are going to go ahead and continue on with our cook's assistant quest, because the rest of the materials we need are across the river over here. Alright, so we're just going to run into the chicken pen here and swoop the egg. There we go. Nice that my inventory is like perfectly managed so that now we are full, but we don't need to pick anything else up, so that's just fine. So now we're gonna go ahead and milk a cow. On RuneScape 2 and 3 they actually have a dairy cow. However, on this version you can actually just milk any old cow. You just click on the bucket and then click on the cow. If I didn't misclick right there. And then once you finally manage to milk the cow, instead of attacking it on accident, you can go ahead and head back to the Lumbridge cook and give him all the ingredients for his cake. Alright, so let's go ahead and hand the cook everything that he needs for his cake here. And you can see here that we get a couple cooking levels and a quest point, and we are also allowed to use his oven in there. And the nice thing about his stove or range or oven or whatever you want to call it is that it has a less likely chance to burn things, I believe. At least on RuneScape 2 and 3 it does. I think that's the same for Classic, because I think that's the whole point of doing the quest, is so that you're allowed to use his cooking range. But anyways, now we're gonna go ahead and head up to the spinning wheel and spin everything. And just like always, it's one click for one ball of wool. So we're just going to go ahead and click these bad boys out. Alrighty, so here we are now handing in the sheep shearer quest, that's what it's called. And so we're just going to sit here while it gives him every single ball of wool one at a time. Thankfully it doesn't take too long, and then you can go ahead and get your 2 crafting levels. So now you're level 3, and then you can get your 1 quest point, and then we're out of here. And so my main goal, I guess you could say right now, is to go ahead and make some money, because I like to, well, I don't know if I'd say I'd like to, but I at least want to get my combat levels up so that everything won't be spanking me, especially when we find some aggressive monsters later on, or these highwaymen that walk around. But in order to get our combat levels up, we're gonna have to kill some stuff, and to kill some stuff, I'm going to need better gear than a wooden shield and a bronze sword. So we're going to go ahead and head to the drainer bank, and we are going to pull out our pickaxe. Now, this is my 3rd time starting over RuneScape Classic. The first time was back in 2010, I think, when I first started playing RuneScape Classic, because they like reopened it for members at the time, and I really loved the idea of Classic, so I hopped on and played it and I loved it. And then once I lost members, because I was only a poor kid back then with no money, I decided to play on a private server, and I'm pretty sure it had boosted XP rates. If not, everything was broken to the fact where you could like manipulate it so you could level up really fast, because I feel like I got levels really quick on that private server. I actually had a video on my channel on how to make an account and play on it and everything, because I thought it was so cool. So now that I've found this, because the real RuneScape Classic is dead, this is my 3rd time starting over. So what I usually do is that I immediately go for mining and smithing, because you can mine some stuff, make it into bars, make it into equipment, and then sell it to the stores. And that's usually a pretty decent way of making money. In my last video, if you remember talking to the financial advisor, he actually tells you that mining and fishing is one of the, is 2 of the best ways to make money. I had my little edit about the fishing joke, because I didn't think fishing was that viable, but then I actually did some research, and it turns out that fishing is probably better than mining in a lot of cases, because what you want to do is just get your fishing up to 35 to where you can fish tuna, and then fish tuna in Catherby, and then you can sell them to the store that's like 10 steps away, and you just make a butt ton of money. So if you can bear grinding your fishing up to level 35 and you want to do the fishing contest quest, then you can go ahead and get your money that way. The mining method still works. I actually prefer it for myself because I like getting those smithing levels. Smithing is always my favorite skill on any RuneScape. And then probably crafting is my second favorite, even though it's always freaking expensive. On this game, however, crafting is probably not my second favorite skill, just because of how you have to train it. For any of you that are familiar with RuneScape, I think the best way to train crafting without like trading with other players and losing a butt ton of money is to spin flax into bowstrings, and that can take forever. But there are a lot of things in this version of the game that take forever, so that's kind of what you're signing up for, is the long grind. But the achievements when you get levels and everything sure feel great. So if you remember from last time, this is mining. Every click, I swing my pick at the rock. Sometimes, I don't know, I can never find what I like. I don't know if I like to just spam it or if I like to click methodically. So I usually end up changing my click patterns a lot, but I guess that shows I guess that shows that I'm not a bot or that I'm using an auto clicker, because my clicking's all over the frickin' place. But we're just going to mine. Usually I just mine one inventory of copper, then one inventory of tin. And then once I've done that for a while, I'll smelt them into bars, and then we'll take them over to Varrock and smith them into equipment. So to be honest, this is the point where the commentary will kind of start breaking up, because I mean, I'm sure you don't want to watch, and I certainly can't voice over a bunch of mining, because this is literally all it would be for hours. And so what I'm going to do is break it up from now on, so it won't be as like streamlined, you know. I won't be like going from here to here to here. Like from now on, it'll probably just be jumping around, and I might have like level jumps. I don't always get the recorder up when I have new levels. I'll definitely try to show like big milestones and stuff. I definitely want to keep quests in though. We will certainly be recording quests, showing major steps along the way. Maybe some random interactions with other players, just whatever. Killing stuff, training methods, just whatever, you know. Kind of progress videos along the way. Sometimes I did end up missing a quest though for recording, so what I think I'll do is I'll just make a second account on like maybe I'll just start up a single player RuneScape Classic, and I'll just make like another account and just do it on there so that I have a recording for you guys, so that you can kind of see what I did. Because yeah, there was sometimes I was just too lazy to record it, to be honest. So but anyways, let's go ahead and bank this ore and get attacked. This happens all the time when you mine down here and go up and bank in Balador, but what you gonna do except get your levels up. Anyways guys, that's going to do it for this video today. I hope you enjoyed. If you'd like to come play with us, check in the description. I'll have a link to the Open RSC website and Discord. As I said in the last video, I believe they also have a server with more custom content and 5x XP. So if you want to enjoy the game without having to sit through the grind, you can always play on that server. But that's gonna do it for me, so thank you very much for watching. I'll see y'all in the next video, and have a nice day. Goodbye.